never can stop. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe!
Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. So today was the day we had the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified fan stream for Yojo June. And before we get started, let me just apologize right off the top that my neighbor is doing some work on his back deck. So if you hear a buzzsaw going, that's what that is. I'm gonna try and drown it out in editing. Hopefully I can get rid of it. But if you do catch it every once in a while, I apologize for that. But on to the reason why you're here, which is the fan stream. I think they had a pretty solid showing today, but I do understand if some people are going to be upset because certain things that we were expecting didn't make an appearance. And so let's not bury the lead. Let's just jump right into that. That first of all, when the fan stream started, Emily wasn't there. There was a new marketing rep that actually came over from Transformers, and Emily not being there is actually very important because she is in San Diego getting ready for SDCC, because G.I. Joe apparently at Comic-Con is going to be the center ring show. They're going to be the big reveal at Comic-Con, which means the HasLab was not revealed today. They told us that at the top of the fan stream. By the way, there will be a link to the fan stream in the description below if you haven't seen it already. So there's no HasLab as of right now, which kind of took a lot of us by surprise, I think, because it's Yojo June. This is like what it's been building up to, but they have the coveted spot of revealing their HasLab at SDCC, so we have about another month to wait. So with that out of the way, let's get to what we did get today. Time of recording, June 4th. First of all, we're going to start with our name-only reveals. And there was really only one name-only reveal. And I don't hate it, but I wasn't as excited about it as I was about some of the other things today. That the name-only reveal is Footloose. And it doesn't surprise me that they're coming out with Footloose. This is another infantryman. This is another one that they can reuse a lot of Stalker and Grunt with. So basically, they'll just give us another infantry trooper, some camo weapons, that probably the M16A2, I would be guessing. Like, it would be cool if we got one with like an underslung grenade launcher just for something a little different. But that is what we are getting for the name only reveal. Truthfully, like I said, I don't hate this one, but I think I would be more excited if it was one that, you know, popped a little bit more, had something other than being another infantryman, something like, oh, Airtight or Lightfoot, something like that. That's why I got really excited when Barbecue first came out all those years ago, because he was red, he was different, he added some color, he added some character to the shelf other than this sea of green. And it's G.I. Joe, it's the military, I get it. There's going to be a lot of green and a lot of olive drab and a lot of tan. But I like to see the more unique characters scattered throughout the shelf every once in a while. But speaking of characters that pop, that takes us to our next topic, which is the renders. And there were only 2 renders to be revealed today, 2 digital renders. One of them was Dial Tone, which is cool. I liked Dial Tone. I liked his rig. I liked his setup. We have a bit of an updated look to him, but he's also still very much in that vintage look. They've updated his kit a little bit. His backpack isn't nearly as huge as I think it would have been in the vintage line. And they made a big deal about the cell phone that he comes with, that like he has a pouch that the cell phone can go in and apparently can attach to his rifle. I don't know, they didn't tell too much about that. They basically just showed this. And the other digital render was the one that I was really excited, because it was my boy, the Saw Viper. Look at my boy. Look how beautiful my boy is. I'm really excited about this one. When they did the name only reveal months ago, I think I had mentioned that this was the one that I was the most excited about, and that is still holding true. Love the figure. They said that the helmet does come off, but they didn't have a digital rendering of him with the helmet off. They just had this image. So love the Saw Viper, love the figure, not too thrilled about the weapon. That chainsaw bayonet, you know, a la Gears of War, that's a little too on the nose for something called a Saw Viper. I'm also not sure how I feel about like that underslung saw that he's going to be carrying around. So love the figure, not real thrilled about the weapon. We'll probably end up giving him something different, probably end up customizing him a little, or them, who knows, maybe I'll get multiple. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I will probably end up kitting him out with a different weapon other than what he comes with, because I'm just not real thrilled with that. Like I said, love the figure, love the character, love that he's being included. Might change the weapon. We'll have to wait and see once I get it in hand. So that was it for name only. That was it for the digital renders. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of what they were talking about, which was the offerings that are going to be put up on pre-order. And there were some pre-orders today. There are some for next week and some for the week following. They made mention that unlike other years where like they would have the fan stream this week and then they would do like mini release videos or live streams throughout the month, this is it for this month, because after they were done with this fan stream, I imagine that they're all getting ready for San Diego Comic-Con, the big push on that, since G.I.Joe is going to be the big centerpiece product this year. As it should be, I feel. Like, I really think this has been probably Hasbro's strongest showing as G.I. Joe, especially since they're kind of pushing Power Rangers to the side, handing them off to Playmates. So today for pre-orders, time of recording, June 4th, they went up for sale at 1 p.m. today. So if you're watching this, they're pretty much already up for pre-order right now. There were 4. The first one we're going to talk about is Alpine right here, because we all knew Alpine was coming. And I dig this character. I dig the look of him. And this is kind of what I meant when I was talking about a figure that would pop, that would stand out on the shelf, something different from our basic like olive drab infantryman. And I do realize that he is wearing a green jacket and he has brown pants on, but it's just the look of the character. The look of the character really stands out. I like how he has the rope on there, the coat is open, he has his ball cap, he has his goggles that you can put on him. A lot of his gear is stuff that we've seen already. Like, for example, the machine gun that he comes with, the assault rifle that he comes with, we've gotten in the, what was it? It was either the Snake Eyes and Timber 2-pack or it was the Alpha Commandos 2-pack. I think it was the Snake Eyes and Timber 2-pack. So we've seen that rifle before, and it also came in the Snake Eyes and Timber 2-pack, that hook launcher that he has, the rifle that shoots the grappling hook, which looks more like an anchor than a hook, to be completely honest. And then he also comes with the grappling hook that Storm Shadow came with. The only real new accessories that he comes with are the twin climbing claws that you get with him. And I dig that. That's really cool. That is something that his character as a mountaineer, as a mountain climber would have. I appreciate that being thrown in. We always know there's going to be reuse, especially with the weapons at this point. So I greatly appreciate it when they put in something like that. Like, it's even something small, something that's very unique to that character. That's why I love that they put those in. And speaking of Storm Shadow's grappling hook, how's that for a transition? Next up is version 2 of Storm Shadow. And Storm Shadow's my boy. Like, I always liked Storm Shadow better than Snake Eyes. And I liked the version 2 of Storm Shadow in the vintage line a lot. I liked the hood, that big hood that came up over the masked head. As a matter of fact, as far as I can remember, that's the first time that Storm Shadow had the hood pulled up over the mask. And that became so like integral, iconic, whatever you want to call it, to the character, that other figures have followed suit where he's always had the hood that comes up. Even the, not the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, but like The vintage standard release version of Storm Shadow had that hood piece that you can pull up over his mask. So over his mask and headset. So I like this in concept. Did they stick the landing? I don't really know. There's something about it that, like, I like it. It's Storm Shadow. I'm still going to get it. As a matter of fact, I already did pre-order it, but there's just something that, like, I'm not as excited about this one as I was about the vintage figure, and I'm not as excited about this now, seeing it, as I was when I first heard the release. And honestly, I think it's because they've kind of kitted him up too much. He looks too heavy, too bulky. They gave him like that battle skirt and all those pouches going across the front. There's a lot of, like, I don't know, like, almost looks like they went the samurai route with some of it. Like the shin guards and the split toe tabby. And then he has the armor piece up here that they even mentioned, like, archers use that for protecting the shoulder. And I dig that they dove into Storm Shadow's archery aspect, because that was kind of his thing in the comics. Like, he was the archer. He was really good with that bow. But also, I'm not digging the twin katanas sheathed on his hip. Now, with the samurai, you put a katana and a wakizashi in there, and they used one at a time. Okay, it was also like the badge of honor of them being samurai. Storm Shadow having two katanas sheathed on his hip just looks a little excess. Like, if he's going to be carrying two, I think he should always just have them on his back like he's always had. I'm not digging them on the side, and I don't think you can pop them off and put them on the backpack. The bow is the bow that we first saw with Shadow Tracker, and Nagahide is going to have it. Once again, that kind of makes sense, because the version 2 Storm Shadow came with a compound bow for some reason instead of his recurve. And he also has the claws, the fighting claws that the version 2 had. So I don't hate this figure. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are really going to like this figure. Like I said, it's Storm Shadow. I'll be getting it just because of that. But I don't think they stuck the landing with this one, to be completely honest. I think it's just they did a little too much with this one. Whereas, like, with Storm Shadow, it's always like less is more. You know, slim him down. He should travel light. Like, I'm one of the few that actually likes the movie version of Storm Shadow. I don't like the color, but like that figure, I liked his outfit. I liked how bare bones it was, how slim it was, like how light he traveled. This is kind of like going in the opposite direction of that. That's me. I know there are some people that are going to love this. And like I said, I'm still going to get it because it's Tommy. It's my boy. Got to get him. One thing that I do appreciate is the rope that's going across him, especially since they have Alpine. That's not a copy of the rope that Alpine has, which they could have easily done. So I do appreciate that they took the time to give him his own rope. Now, the next two we're going to talk about are the two troop builders, and it is the Iron Grenadier and the Iron Grenadier Bat. Right off the top, time of recording, both of those are sold out on Hasbro Pulse. There was a limit to 5 per customer, but being troop builders and looking as good as they do, I'm not surprised that they're sold out today. However, places like Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store and probably Amazon, I haven't checked Amazon yet, still have them in stock. You can still pre-order them there. I've managed to pre-order mine. I didn't get mine off of Hasbro Pulse. I think I ordered like 5 Grenadiers and maybe 3 bats, and I may even be adding bats onto that at this point. But first, let's look at the Iron Grenadier, because this dude looks cool. He looks so cool. As far as I can tell, and from what they said on the live stream, that they based a lot of this off of Resolute rather than the vintage figure, which I love, because the vintage figure was cool, but this is just BA. I love the jacket, the collared shirt, the tie, the iron mask that he has on underneath there. The helmet comes off, which is really cool, so you can pose him with the helmet on or the helmet off. There's just something so like retro looking about this that I absolutely love. I think these figures look fantastic. I think they look better than the vintage figure, to be completely honest, the uniform that they have on. There's definitely a stormtrooper aspect to this character, and I don't mean Star Wars. I think this looks so intimidating and so great. It may be one of my favorite troop builders. Now I have to go get Metalhead, knowing that these guys are coming down the line. First of all, like I said, he has the helmet that will come off and on. The weaponry is kind of where it falls apart for me, though. Let's just get that out of the way. That he has the saw that Big Ben comes with. He has the pistol, submachine gun that Destro came with. I don't know what that actually is supposed to be. He has a standard pistol. He has the saber, which I'm pretty sure is just a... Hold on, let me see something. Yeah, it is a repaint of the Crimson Guard or the Python Guard saber. So that's reused right there. But it looks great with the paint deco. They also said all of this gold is like painted on, and that'll become important when we talk about the bats. The rest of the weapons I'm not thrilled with, because once again they're reusing those Big Ben weapons. The saw that Big Ben carries, or the belt fed, I'm not exactly sure if that's a machine gun or a saw. And then they have the double-barreled assault rifle, which I am so tired of seeing, because not only are we seeing it on this one, but we're also going to be seeing it on Night Force Shockwave. We just had this kit for the 60th anniversary Action Infantry Soldier. Get some new stuff, guys, please. Please. Especially because this is Destro. Destro should have like top of the line, cutting edge military hardware. Like, if any of these characters should have come with like a new weapon or like a custom weapon, or even something that's just unique to the G.I.Joe universe, doesn't exist in the real world, it's these guys. Like, the vintage figure came with the saber, an Uzi, and a red pistol that looked like a laser gun. So I appreciate that they put in Destro's own special weapon in place of the Uzi, that you could use that as like the submachine gun replacement. But the saw and the assault rifle, and don't get me wrong, with army builders, I get why you want to kit them out and give them a bunch of weapons, because they're army builders. You want them to be able to look different on the shelf or in a photo or whatever. But they could have done so much better with this. They could have done so much better. Like the assault rifle, they could have gotten rid of that, and they could have even, because he supplied Cobra, they could have even replaced it with like a Viper rifle if they wanted to, or just something like that. I'm not digging these. The saw, the belt fed, I'm not too upset about. It's mainly that double barrel assault rifle. But let's get off of this one and let's jump to the Bat. And when it's all said and done, the Iron Grenadier Bat is basically just a repaint of the Arctic Bat, to be specific, because it has that new head sculpt and he comes with the chainsaw. I did not anticipate how good these things would look painted gold. Those look fantastic. Like, I'm pretty sure all of my Iron Grenadier Bats are going to have the golden head, not the standard like Cobra Bat head. Those just look awesome. They also, once again, went out of their way to tell you that the gold is all painted. It wasn't molded in gold plastic. It's painted gold, so it will give you that brighter shine rather than just gold molded plastic. So that is very cool. The Bat just looks fantastic. The Bat may be my favorite of the pre-orders today, which I thought was going to be Storm Shadow. Also, you'll notice that on his chest, the chest plate is transparent for the first time. And they made a point of saying you can take those transparent chest plates off, put them on your other bats. You could take the chest plates from like the Cobra bats and put the black chest plate on this, or the crimson chest plate would fit on it. Like, so you can mix and match. You can start to customize the bats for everything that they have. I also like how there's one chest plate that is clear and then one that has like a battle damaged crack in it. I think that's very cool. I really dig these. I can't wait to get my hands on these. These just look so cool. Like I said, everything was available on Hasbro Pulse. Alpine and Alpine and Storm Shadow are both still available on Pulse. The Iron Grenadiers and the Iron Grenadier bats sold out, but everything is available for pre-order at places like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth. Once again, links in the description below. So that was all for release for pre-order today, June 4th at 1 p.m. The next release of pre-orders is going to be on June 11th at 1 p.m. and that is going to be an all retro wave. And in that wave are 3 figures. This is going to be released, like I said, the 11th, 1 p.m. And the first one to be released, or the first one that they were going to talk about, is Stalker. There's a retro cardback Stalker coming out, which I don't think any of us knew about or was even considering that that was going to be part of it. Now, it's basically the Stalker that we've already got from the Classified series. The weapons are the same, the buck is the same, the accessories are the same, everything's pretty much the same to the right down to the beret. The only thing that he doesn't come with is that heavy scarf that the Classified version came with. So they got rid of the scarf and they gave us a figure stand. Now, the paint deco, the camo on him is a much brighter green than what we got in Classified, going along with that vintage look. The only thing I raised an eyebrow on is that there's camo on the beret. And they kept mentioning about how there was camo on the beret in the vintage figure. I had the vintage figure. I even looked up the vintage figure just to make sure that I was remembering correctly before I started recording this video. There was no camo on the beret in the vintage figure. It was a very bright green that matched the green of his camo, but there was no camo on it. So take that for what it is. But if you're going to use that one, you can always pop that camo beret off and use the green beret from the Classified figure, since they're both basically the same at this point. There's one accessory that he doesn't come with that I would have loved if they would have included, and that would have been like a 35mm SLR. The first time we met Stalker in the comics, he was taking nature photos. That would have just been cool if they would have just included that little accessory in with the retro cardback Stalker. Now it kind of makes me want to try and find like a 1/12 scale camera to put around Stalker's neck. So we have that. The second one is one of the ones that we knew was coming, which is the retro cardback Cobra Trooper. And the thing that took me by surprise is that I thought it was basically going to be this guy. This is the Cobra officer that I thought it was going to be this guy, maybe with a different harness, some different weapons, maybe a different paint deco. Maybe this would have been painted red instead of the black, but it's not. It's actually based off of the body and the buck of the Cobra Trooper and infantry that we had way back in like the first wave of figures. They just took the heavy harness off of him. I'm pretty sure, was it this piece? No, I thought it was this at first, but they gave him a different harness that actually might be the Stalker harness now that I think about it. But it is that figure from way back in the day with the texturing on it and all. He just doesn't have the heavy vest that the Trooper and the infantry came with. Has the like armored gauntlets and armored boots and the more armored, like almost gas mask looking face mask. And I was kind of surprised about that because that doesn't really look like the retro figure. It looks more like this guy. But it is a much lighter blue to go along with that style. And the weapons that he comes with Spirit's sniper rifle, which I was really hoping that they were going to do the Dragunov SVD like what came with the vintage figure. But we got Spirit's sniper rifle. We have the Cobra submachine gun that also doubles as like, you know, their laser from the cartoon. And a pistol and a tactical knife. And that's what he comes with for weapon accessories. All in all, it's not a horrible figure. It's not what I was expecting. It still looks cool. I don't know if I'm going to army build it because I've kind of already army built like some of the other Cobra troopers. I'll definitely be getting it, but whether or not I'm going to troop build it out, we'll have to wait and see for that. The last one that was on a retro card, we knew it was coming, and there's going to be disappointment in a lot of people's hearts. We are getting a retro Cobra Commander, but there's no hood. And I know a lot of people were hoping that there would be a hood with this version. Still no hood for Cobra Commander, from Hasbro anyway. But the face mask is vac metal, so you get that reflection off of it, and that is very cool. And the hatch going down the middle of the helmet where he keeps the C4, that is painted as well, so that will stand out. They also mentioned that this is a lighter color than what it should be. They went with the cartoon coloring, so instead of having like the red undershirt, he has the light blue one. So I don't mind about the coloring. I do think he looks cool. He doesn't have all of the kibble that the Hiss Cobra Commander came with, and he has the standard Cobra logo instead of the Mickey Mouse logo, which is pretty much what we thought was going to be one of the main differences. The vac metal faceplate, though, is just beast. That looks fantastic. Like, it's going to be cool being able to get that and take pictures and like have like a Joe reflected in the face mask, or even just being able to see your own reflection in it. So I'm looking forward to that. I will definitely be getting that. I might even do like I did with Scarlet and get two, one to open, one to keep on the card back. Those, like I said, will go out for pre-order on 6/11 at 1 p.m. And they just said where all fine toys are sold. So I'm guessing it's going to be Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad, Amazon, Entertainment Earth, the usual suspects. You know how that goes. And then finally, for the next week, on 6/18 is going to be the exclusives. And I was kind of surprised by some of these exclusives about how not really exclusive some of them are. We'll get to what I'm talking about. So the first one that is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, Hasbro Pulse only, is the Mad Marauders 2-pack of Lowlight and Spirit. And we saw the leaks for this months ago. So what we have here is with Spirit, he has a new eagle. They said it's a golden eagle, but it's also a bit of like a fantasy element to it, that like it is a golden eagle, but they added some stuff to it just to make it look more dramatic, make it look more imposing, things like that. If you're into that, if that's important to you, I think it's cool. I was surprised at how much attention they paid to it in the live stream. But then he also has pretty much all new kit. That he has Outback's backpack, and he comes with the trenching tool. He has his standard rifle, I think he does. I think he comes with the standard rifle that he had in the regular line and the classified line. But he has the different backpack, so you can put the rifle on one side, you have the trenching tool on the other side. They also did this, and this is actually kind of cool, that you could swap heads if you just wanted to use the standard one, that there's actually like a Navajo pattern on his headband now, which I think is really cool, which harkens back to like what tribe or nation that Spirit comes from. I think that's a cool touch. It almost makes me want to get that just for the head to swap it out and put it on the regular Spirit. Almost. Because then we also have Lowlight. And you all know how much I love Lowlight. But they gave Lowlight a new sniper rifle that they even admitted is very sci-fi in the way that it looks. And it just looks like so much extra. It's just too much. Like, they took that 50 cal sniper rifle that exists in real life and then just made it bigger. And it's kind of ridiculous. So you couple that with the fact that like I'm not really big into the Marauders. Like I said, would love it if they came out with the Renegades, but that's what we have for the 2-pack. So that's Lowlight and Spirit. That will be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, 6/18 1 p.m. The next one goes along with that. It's Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter, and he's going to be a deluxe figure. And his kit is a mix between his original release and Big Boa. And he has the rifle. He even comes with like a miniature figure of himself in the Mad Marauder's gear. His baton is painted blue in the Mad Marauder's colors. So I can see a lot of people, especially if you're into the Marauders, being excited about this. It is a deluxe figure. Oh, and he comes with like Big Boa's boxing gloves and Big Boa's weights. This is one that I really think I'm going to pass on. Just the Marauders in general. Like, I have the Marauders barbecue that's like just sitting there waiting for the rest of the boys to show up. But I don't think they're ever going to arrive, to be completely honest. And of course, they definitely made sure to tell us that this version of Sergeant Slaughter comes with a ditty bag.
An itty bitty ditty bag.
That's right. He comes with basically like his military bag, I forget what they called those canvas bags, his duffel bag. Wow. He comes with his duffel bag and it has a drawstring on it. And what is cool is like his weights and his boxing gloves and his mini action figure, you can put all into the bag, and then he can sling the bag over his shoulder or over both shoulders. So that's cool. That's a nice touch to it. It would have been cool if they would have included that with the original Slaughter, if they would have had the idea to do that then, but it is what it is. Now, here's the thing that surprises me. The Mad Marauders the 2-pack is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Sergeant Slaughter is a Pulse and Amazon exclusive. So I don't know what that means, or like what that portends, but like, so you'll be able to get it on Amazon or Hasbro Pulse. Once again, being released at 1 p.m. on 6/18. And the last exclusive that they showed us, and once again, this is a surprise to nobody, the Stinger. The Cobra Stinger, I have to admit, this thing looks cool in black. Like, we saw the Stinger in black in the 80s in the vintage line, and that looked cool, but this looks really cool. We didn't get a price on it, but I'm guessing it's going to be in the same $100 range. It does come with blast effects, but the blast effects are all the blast effects that came with Scrap Iron and his drone. So those blast effects will fit on the back of the rockets to make it look like it's firing the rockets. That's very cool. You can do the same thing with those blast effects in the HMS. So if you have Scrap Iron, you have multiple versions of the blast. Well, if you have Scrap Iron, or if you have the Hiss Fire team, you have multiple versions of those blast effects that you could like have all 4 of them getting ready to launch, which is cool. But I don't know. It would have been cool if they would have, because the Scrap Iron ones come down and then they're blunt. It would have been cool if they would have made new ones or like extensions that you could plug in to the back of them to make them sort of taper or flare or something at the back, so that's not just a blunt end with a hole in it. So you do get those, and when I say you get the blast effects that you got, excuse me, from Scrap Iron, you get all of them, including the ground explosions. The windscreen, the front windscreen is blacked out. There's paint deco on the inside of the doors. The driver looks very cool. That the driver is basically based off of this guy with, I think, a different head and mask sculpt. And of course, he's painted that gray. He comes with the same weapons that this one comes with. The AK holstered on the back and the submachine pistol that he comes with. So that's what we're getting with the Stinger. And once again, that's going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, but also on Amazon. And they mentioned that because it's going to be on Amazon, there's going to be a larger distribution of these than there was for the Vamp. So I think they know that they undersold the Vamp. I think they know that they need to bring out more Vamps, and hopefully at some point they will. But I think they're going for a wider distribution with the Stinger, because I don't think they were ready for how many people wanted the Vamp. I don't think they were ready for how many people were going to pay $100 to get this big thing that takes up space on the shelf. And truthfully, that's where I'm at with the Stinger. I think the Stinger's cool. I think the driver is cool. I think having the male driver in the gray uniform would be a cool companion to the female driver that's coming with the Ferret. but that's a big footprint. That takes up a lot of shelf space. And so I got the Hiss Tank, the HMS, the Vamp, I have the Dragonfly coming, and who knows what the HasLab is going to be. Like, I know people that passed on the HMS because these vehicles are taking up too much space. There's two things collectors do not have a finite amount of: money and space. And things like this kind of encroach on both. So I'm going to have to wait and see. I'm going to have to wait and see and think about this if I'm going to get the Stinger or not. But I do think it's interesting that Sarge and the Stinger are available on Amazon as well as Hasbro Pulse, but the 2-pack is only available on Hasbro Pulse. I'm curious to see if we're going to start seeing that more often, if things that are Pulse exclusives will also be released on Amazon for wider distribution. Now, things like the Hasbro PulseCon exclusive and the SDCC exclusive, I don't doubt will still be Hasbro Pulse exclusives only. I will be surprised if those go to Amazon, but I'm curious to see if this trend continues moving forward. What else did we talk about? Oh, and that also, the Stinger also is going to be a 6/18 release, 1 p.m. They will go on pre-order, but all of these Hasbro Pulse exclusives, the 2-pack, Sergeant Slaughter, and the Stinger, while they'll go on sale to the general public at 1 p.m., Hasbro Pulse Premium members will be able to place their orders starting at 12 p.m. on that day, on 6/18. So if you're a Hasbro Pulse Premium member, the exclusives, you'll be able to start ordering an hour early before everybody else does. I don't think Amazon is going to be doing that. I'm guessing that all the Pulse Premium members will be able to start ordering at 12 o'clock on the Hasbro Pulse website. Then it'll go live at 1 o'clock on Pulse and 1 o'clock or whenever on Amazon. So what else did we get? Oh, and they also said for the Stinger later this month, but they didn't give a date, there will be an unboxing video of the Stinger so you can get a better look at it, see how it goes together, and see everything that you're going to get in the box. They also showed a little bit of a video game that's going to be coming out. It's called G.I.Joe, The Wrath of Cobra. It is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Looks very much like Turtles in Time. It's going to be 4-player co-op. It is being produced by Maple Powered Games, which I don't know anything about that company. Obviously, with a name like that, I'm assuming they're Canadian? Who knows? But right now, it looks like it's only going to be available on Steam and Switch. Nothing about PlayStation, nothing about Xbox yet. No release date. We just know that it's going to be coming down the pipe sometime later this year. If you're into the side-scroller beat-em-ups, basic button mashers, it looks pretty cool. They went into a lot about how you can sort of customize your experience. I'm not going to get into it. They'll be able to explain it much better. If you want to know any more about this, check out the live stream, link in the description below. So there was no mention of the HasLab. There was nothing about the 60th anniversary figures, which I was kind of surprised about because we had been, well, at least I had been talking about them. I was expecting them to come out. Nothing about the Once a Man Cobra Commander or Cobra Law. I thought since they did a name-only reveal of Nemesis Enforcer, they might have mentioned something about the rest of Cobra Law, but nothing there. And nothing about the Iron Grenadier Destro. Now here is my, I don't want to say it's prediction, but here's my theory. So we know Once a Man Cobra Commander is coming out. We have no doubt that the Iron Grenadier Destro is going to come out. I think these are going to be the two exclusives for the year. I think Once a Man Cobra Commander is going to be the SDCC exclusive. And I think that the Iron Grenadier Destro with his despoiler is going to be the Hasbro PulseCon exclusive, much in the same way that Mindbender was the SDCC exclusive, and then Serpentor and his Air Chariot was the Hasbro Pulse exclusive. I have absolutely nothing to go on with that. I have absolutely no evidence, no leaks, no inside knowledge, no nothing. This is just my wild guess. This is what I think is going to happen. They may be transposed, but I think those are going to be the two exclusives this year. We'll find out next month. That's a wrap. That's what we have for the fan stream. Like I said, I understand that there are some people that are going to be upset that certain things weren't talked about. I was a little bummed that the other two 60th anniversary figures weren't mentioned, but I do think there was a pretty solid showing, and we have a lot coming down the pipe. For those of you that collect Valaverse, still nothing about Series 5. I believe he just made a post, Bobby Vala just made a post before I started recording this on Instagram, alluding to that Friday is the date they are shooting for to release these. It may come sooner, but it looks like Friday is the date that they're shooting for. Also, whenever we talk about that, I'm going to talk about this new line that popped up on Big Bad Toy Store a little bit called Crimson Moon, which is very cool, has some really interesting implications, would fit really well with either G.I. Joe or Monster Force that's coming out. So we'll talk about those. I'm kind of excited about that stuff. Hello, please hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you already are a subscriber to the channel, big thanks to you. Leave a comment down below letting us know what you thought of today's episode. If you would like to help the channel grow and you're in a position to do so, please consider becoming a channel member or a coffee subscriber, where for $1 a month you get access to member perks, including our monthly member exclusive. This month is the Mezco 112 Snake Eyes. So until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.